or there's broken rock and erosion on the drive. So we'll be working on that. We allocate money there by what's most critical. We passed a bond issue, $50 million bond issue. How many years ago was that, Bill?
3 years ago.
Three years ago. And that bond issue is allowing us to go ahead with our wastewater projects. We're going into our treatment system phase 2 of our expansion and upgrade. And I'd encourage you, if you've never had a tour of our wastewater treatment plant, it's like going through there with Bill Nye the Science Guy. It is so neat to see how that works out there. Water projects, we're going to be installing an east booster station somewhere out there near the car wash by the Lake Crest Church out there. And then we're doing a water system expansion project too. We try to loop all of our water systems into all of the water towers. So if we lose water from one source, we have an alternate source. And we have enough water in all of our water towers right now. If we really restrict our water usage, we could probably go 4 days without adding new water to the system just on what's in the storage tanks. But we'd really have to conserve. Initiatives for 2010, the Board of Aldermen at our retreat said that they want to allocate more funding to stormwater projects, so we're making that a priority. The board also wanted to pursue a dedicated revenue stream for park development. We're way behind in the park services we provide for our young people in this community. We just don't have enough football fields, soccer fields, and baseball fields. And we've got to provide those activities and things for our kids to do. We have been able to acquire some ground over the last 6 years, somewhere in the neighborhood of 100 or more acres of new ground, but we need dollars to develop that ground. We need dollars to do implement our parks master plan, improve our indoor facilities, our swimming facility, parks and trails. So basically what that's talking about is the board is going to propose in August for the voters to consider a 1/2 cent sales tax for you to consider. And I think what's important to realize, 60 to 75% of the shopping that occurs in the city of Wentzville occurs and is done by people who don't live in the city of Wentzville. That means out of that $800,000 million of revenue that comes in from sales tax, most of that's generated by people who don't live here. So they're helping to pay for our services, and they could also help pay for our parks through their shopping and use of our area. If we have to fund the entire park system from our own budget, that entire cost, if it's $20 million or $30 million, is carried directly on the shoulders of the residents only. It's not shared with anybody else. And the revenue streams for that to occur would probably be 10 or 15 years down the road when we became a city of 50 or 60,000, which is usually what happens in most cities. That's when they really start kicking some money into parks. So if we want to get it done earlier, we need a revenue stream. We need to continue working with existing businesses and recruit new businesses. Thank you all for sponsoring folks in the chamber. We appreciate that. And thank you for networking and working with one another. We want to enhance and expand the city's communications with residents and businesses. Communication was a top priority with the Board of Aldermen, and it is also a top priority with me. How can we communicate better? I think most of you know that the St. Louis Post-Dispatch and Suburban Journals have had some problems. We haven't seen a reporter in City Hall on a regular basis for at least 3 years. They don't even have the money to send a reporter out there. Now that's scary enough, but even scarier is I don't see any of your happy faces in here. We conduct your business many nights to an empty City Hall. Not a single reporter, not a single resident. Now, I'm not saying we're not trustworthy. I think we are. I think you're very fortunate to have a Board of Aldermen and elected officials that are trustworthy. But my goodness, I'd sure like to see some participation out there. Maybe we could get some of the local schools to send in some cub reporters, and you could read it at least in the school newspaper, because you're not going to get it from the Post-Dispatch. So yeah, that's something that really concerns me. One of the things we're doing to try to reach out, City of Wentzville is on Facebook and Twitter. So you can, and we're also on LinkedIn, so you can Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn with us. And these are great ways to do it. As a matter of fact, in addition to the reverse 911 calling, some of these things like Twitter could actually be used in the event of emergencies to get word out quickly to people. We also launched a new website. I hope you all take time to visit it. It's an excellent new website. It's under our local control now, so it doesn't take a long time to change things. I'd also like to announce that later on this week, I'd encourage you to go on there and read the winners of the Martin Luther King essay. For the Martin Luther King Day celebration, we put the challenge out to Holt and Timberland High School to write an essay about what made Martin Luther King different than other civil rights activists of his era. That was the question. We got 7 great responses from 7 really brilliant kids in our school system. And then we're going to post those online. They're published, and I told them we'd publish them online. So please go on there and read those. I think you will be amazed at the insight and thought these young people put into them. But incredible amount of information. We think it's simpler and easier to navigate, and we want your feedback too. So if you can't get your way around on there, something you don't like, or we can change, let us know. New businesses in 2010. Everybody says, what's that going up there in front of Kohl's behind Ruby Tuesdays and Bob Evans? That's Olive Garden. Okay? Yahoo! Olive Garden is part of the Darden Olive, and that's a big thing. Olive Garden doesn't go into community lightheartedly. They take a real serious look at it. So they put a lot of confidence in our community, which is really nice to hear. They're part of the Dardeen family of restaurants. They also own Longhorn Steakhouse, and they also own Red Lobster. There's no indication or word yet that those two are coming in the near future, but generally that's what happens over time. So please support the Olive Garden. Wendy's will be locating in that general area also, reopening with a new restaurant. Downtown next to the post office, remember the beautiful house next door to the post office? That's going to be the Majestic Wine Garden. We've already told them to check the postal workers and make sure they're not hanging out there too much. We have trouble enough getting permits. Playtime Pizza is opening a skating rink out there in the Parkway. So put on your skates. Sounds like a great way to exercise in this weather. So there are new businesses in 010. Santra Pandai, they are coming. They're going to be open. They're going to be starting construction soon. Also on the south side of the highway, what is coming up right now is the IHOP restaurant. And where they're redoing the old Walmart shopping center on the south side of I-70 and giving it that facelift, a business called Rural King is coming in. They're kind of like a Rural Orchlands, yeah, more like an Orchlands than anything. Then there's others to be announced. Okay? Nice picture of pancakes. I don't know where you got those. And that's the end. Like Marilyn said, I won't keep you long. And if there's any questions, I'd be glad to try to answer them. Yeah, Steve.
As mayor of the city here in the
Would we consider not having one? Probably not.